Thank you.
And a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, respected faculty members, valued student, and esteemed guests. A warm welcome to the another episode of GIBS IRE Talks. I'm Professor Sandeep Ansali, and it's my pleasure to host today's IRE Talk. And today's topic is very, very important, which speaks on mastering persuasive communication, speak with impact. Before we delve into today's topic, let me introduce you to GIBS. GIBS Business School is an exceptional institution in Bangalore, which is promoted and driven by IM alumni, offering top-tier business education. Currently, we provide two flagship programs, BBA from Bangalore University and AICTE-approved PGDM program. These courses are meticulously designed to equip the student with the necessary skills and knowledge to thrive in the business world. Our curriculum blends theoretical learning with a practical application, guided by the experienced faculty and industry experts, with the state-of-art facilities, corporate partnership, and strong placement set. GIBS ensure students are well prepared for their professional journeys. So let me just introduce a little very short paragraph about the IRE Talks. What is IRE Talks all about? So GIBS IRE Talks is an initiative of GIBS Business School Bangalore, and it's dedicated to enhance student skills in innovation, research, and entrepreneurship. These talks provide a platform for the student to interact with the industry leaders, successful entrepreneurs, and academic experts. The IRE, Innovation, Research, and Entrepreneurship Framework, encourages the student to develop an innovative ideas, conduct significant research, and embark on the entrepreneurial ventures. Through these engagements, students gain valuable insights, build professional network, and boost their confidence, preparing them to excel in their careers and make impactful contributions in the business world. So let me introduce to the keynote speaker. I'm sure Ms. Mridu Bhandari is nothing less than a celebrity. I'm sure all of us would have seen her on various top TV channels like CNBC, Forbes Digital, Money Control, and many more. But on a formal part of introduction, allow me to introduce you, ma'am, to the audience.
Thank you. Thank you.
So it gives me an immense pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker for today, Ms. Mridu Bhandari, an award-winning media professional with 18 plus years of multidisciplinary experience in television and digital journalism and content at India's leading national news network and BBC in London. She's renowned face on Indian business news platforms like CNBC 18, Forbes Digital, Money Control, and previously ET Now. She's regularly interviewing Fortune 500 top CEOs, startup founders, and venture capitalists, and even the policymakers on the various issues. She has also led content ideation for many Network 18's intellectual properties. Ms. Mridu is the youngest recipient of prestigious award, that's Ramnath Goenka Award for Excellence in Journalism, and it goes on. Ma'am, if I go on to the profile, it go on till the evening. Please excuse me for cutting it short.
Please.
So over to you, ma'am.
This was already too long. These are all just professional achievements that happen along the way once you've been in a career for 18 years. And I'm sure, what I want to start with today is first, of course, very, very big thank you to GIBS and to you, Sandeep, for such a wonderful introduction and your kind words, and to have me here. I find it very, very motivating and inspiring for myself to talk to young people all the time, college students of today. And so thank you for the opportunity, and thanks for having me there. And I think the one thing that I want to start with is by saying that everything that I'm going to talk about today about communication comes from my personal experiences. So, all of my communication courses, my coaching, my workshops, my talks are all derived from what I have faced on field, on ground, talking to some of the world's top leaders, policymakers, talking to them on camera, on TV, interviewing them, moderating panel discussions. And I'm now trying to condense all those learnings into different workshops and talks and courses that I'm building. So everything that you hear today is from my personal experience, may or may not happen to you, or you might find other people have different experiences. So bear with me on that.
Absolutely.
So if we are good to begin, I will start sharing my screen.
Sure, please.
I hope you can see that. So this initiative that I do, which has taken the shape of many things, workshops, a cohort-based course that I run, which is a 12-hour live learning course. It's called Speak with Impact. And the whole idea of Speak with Impact is that today, in any sort of a career, you are required to speak with impact. Speaking with impact opens up doors for you, opens up opportunities for you. And communication, for everyone who's on LinkedIn and follows LinkedIn news, you will know that LinkedIn has called communication as the most critical soft skill, or rather the people skill, like I like to call it, of 2024 and beyond. So no matter what field you are choosing, no matter how technical your field is going to be, you can't do away with communication. It is something that all of us should at least aim to master at some level if we want to grow up the corporate ladder or grow up the entrepreneurial ladder, so to speak. So let's begin with asking you all a question. And this session is going to be very interactive. It's not going to be a monologue where I just keep talking and you're just listening. So please be attentive, take to the chat box. And towards the end, we will, of course, also have time for dedicated Q&A. But all through this 1 hour, I want all of you to be participative in this process, because communication is all about making it a two-way street. It doesn't help if I'm the only one talking, right? So what does speaking with impact mean to you? And let's start with getting some answers from all of you. What do you think is meant by speaking with impact? What does that mean to you? Does it mean anything to you when you think about, oh, I should speak with impact? What does that really mean?
You can put your answers in the Q&A section. You have the Q&A section open, so you can just put your answers in the Q&A section. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. My camera was off.
No worries.
Yes.
What does speaking with impact mean to you?
Okay. Somebody says you should know about yourself better before making communication.
Okay.
Okay. To express, Sutapago says to express ourselves. Unat says making your thoughts meaningful.
Yes. All of this is correct. You want to add your thoughts, Sandeep? What's the impact to you, if you think about it?
Impact is speak your heart out. Be honest to yourself.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it as well. So Mayank says speaking with the resources and content of the topic you're talking about. All right. So all of this is correct. But speaking with impact, if you think about it, if you really go deep down, it comes down to the single crux of it, which is that speaking in a manner in which you get the other person to act the way you want them to. So if I have an impact, what is my speaking with impact on this particular topic, let's say today in this session? I would like that all the attendees here take away something useful and start implementing it in their daily lives. Now, if I have spoken with impact today, then hopefully you will get inspired to pick up some of the tools and techniques that you learn about today and start implementing them. So essentially, speaking with impact is all about making the other person, convincing the other person to respond to you in the way you want them to. So for example, if I'm writing to say the CEO of a large company to attend my event at Network18, the desired response is that he or she says yes. So my communication is impactful only if they have said yes and they have completed that communication loop. My communication is not impactful if I'm just leaving out an invite and leaving it there and never following up and never figuring out what happened to that piece of communication. So speaking with impact essentially is about getting the desired response from your audience, no matter who that audience is. You are always wanting something from a conversation, and that something will happen only if you are speaking with impact. Why is speaking with impact really important? Because this opens up career opportunities. For example, you're going for a new job interview. If you're able to speak with impact, the result of that conversation and that negotiation should be that the company is happy to hire you and you are happy to join that company at a salary that you wanted and the company is willing to pay for. That means you have spoken with impact and you've got a favorable response. It helps fast track professional growth. So As you grow up the corporate ladder, if you're in a company or if you become an entrepreneur, you will always be dealing with people. You will always be talking to your teammates, your bosses, your potential clients, your investors, bankers, finance team, various teams within a large corporation if you're working. So your professional growth will be faster if you're a person who is able to influence other people in the system. How do you do that? You do that with communication. And we will dive deeper into what communication really means. It is not just about the words you talk. It's a lot of different facets, but essentially you should be able to speak with impact. It is also essential for building and maintaining relationships. Whether you have personal relationships or professional relationships, unless you're a good communicator and a good listener, that's part of communicating. So you should be an active listener. You should be able to hear other people's thoughts. You should not be interrupting them. You should be able to respond to them with logic rather than react emotionally. All of this goes into building your relationships, and communication plays a huge role there. If you're a team leader in future, and I hope all of you will be, you will need communication to build relations, to build trust with your team, to inspire them to work harder, to inspire them to meet deadlines. All of this will require speaking with impact. Most importantly, if you're a team leader, you will be dealing with conflicts. Even without being a team leader in our personal lives, we all deal with conflicts, right? We have a fight with somebody we love. How do we solve it? We talk it out. Unless you talk it out and unless you communicate with each other, chances are you are rupturing that relationship, no matter what the relationship is, whether it's professional or personal. So speaking with impact and speaking with clarity is important in your personal life as well. And when you're able to convey your thoughts with structure, with clarity, and with impact, you win the trust of the other side of the table much faster, as opposed to somebody who is lost in thought, somebody who doesn't know how to, who has great ideas but cannot communicate those to, somebody sitting across the table. And this is an absolute prerequisite for any leadership role. As you grow in your career, as you enter leadership positions, you will most definitely be required to speak with impact on different platforms and in different scenarios. So this is something that we should all be investing time in and effort in. And to give you an example, what has speaking with impact led me to in life? A career in TV journalism, of course, because speaking is my job. Now, you might say that, oh, because you're a journalist, you're saying speaking is important. But no, I'm not saying that only because I'm a journalist. Yes, it opened up a career path for me because I learned how to talk well. But it also gave me many opportunities to travel abroad. Again, journalism is a competitive field. If I'm not good at speaking, if I'm not good at what I do, I will never get a chance to be on TV. I will never get a chance to moderate CXO panel discussions, talk to CEOs, CIOs of different companies on television in India, abroad. The award that Sandeep spoke of, I got those for documentaries that I built in rural India. So I was filming in small towns and villages of UP, Gujarat, MP, bunch of states. And I was just about 23, 24 years old at the time. And if I had not learned how to speak with people of that region, people of the village, convince them that I'm here for their good and I would like to film them, I would never get them to talk on camera, right? So that opened up doors, that led to an award. I won a Chevening Scholarship, which is extremely competitive. Only about 1,500 people get selected from around the world every year, and thousands of people apply. So again, it tests your speaking skills apart from writing skills in essays and storytelling and all of that. There is a panel interview that happens where you have to convince the panel of why you are the best fit for the scholarship. And the result is one fully paid master's anywhere in the UK for one whole year. And they fund your studies and they fund your living for a whole year, right? Again, the chance to work with BBC in London happened. Again, a very competitive process. Only 8 people were going to be selected for different departments in the BBC. And that happened because I could talk and I could speak with impact and I could convince the interview panel that I'm a good bet for them. right? Again, leadership roles, very competitive. India is a competitive market. 65% of our population is under the age of 30 at this point in time. So, jobs are fewer than the number of people there are in this country. And that is the reality that we are faced with today. So it's important to show and to communicate why you are the best fit for a role. And a chance at success in entrepreneurship. So right now I have picked up the entrepreneurial journey for the last year and a half. And I can tell you, this is harder than in, and I can be on TV with my eyes closed, but being an entrepreneur, you have to talk to so many people every single day. You have to talk to, you have to, be able to do business development, sell your services. You have to do marketing. You have to actually create the content. If I'm in the learning teaching space, the content that I'm going to deliver, actually delivering this content, it should be engaging enough, interesting enough for you to listen. So speaking in my life, speaking with impact has literally been the cornerstone of any success that I have met at different areas of life. And I encourage you to invest your time and your energy in this, because this is going to open up doors for you like you cannot imagine. And it's a long-term process. Speaking with impact doesn't come immediately, but it's a skill that can be learned with practice. Just like we learn swimming, driving, cooking, the more you keep doing, the more you keep getting better at it. It's the same with communication. And not so to answer that question earlier that you might have had, that does it help only journalists? No. So I have been coaching clients from school teachers to managers of tech companies to CEOs, CIOs to homemakers. The homemaker, actually, her response was the most heartwarming for me, because she said that my sessions actually helped her improve her relationship with her teenage son. So that's what communication can do for you. It can help you crack jobs. It can help you, perform better in team meetings at work. It can improve your personal and professional relationships. And it might just make you a TED Talk speaker in the future, right? So no dream is too big. And if being on the TED stage is a dream, please nurture it and please start working towards it. So one golden rule of public speaking that I say everybody should remember, that all public speaking is actually about persuading or influencing your audience. So you are there influencing and trying to get the person or your audience to your side of the table, no matter what you're trying to do. If you are trying to crack a job, you are persuading the company to hire you. If you are applying to a foreign university for higher studies, you are writing persuasive essays for them to give you an opportunity. If you are trying to sell a product, you are persuading potential customers that please buy my product. And the tone, the messaging, the communication for each of these situations differs. Even if it is as simple as you want a night out with your friends, you are persuading your parents that I need to get out of the house today. I have studied enough. Or you want to increase your pocket money, again, persuading your parents that please increase my monthly pocket money. This is not enough to live in Bangalore, right? So we are, knowingly or unknowingly, we are always persuading people around us for something or the other. And the good thing to remember is that whenever you are in a public speaking scenario, whether it's on stage, whether it's in a team meeting, whether it's in even on a one-on-one conversation, you are always persuading the other person about something or the other. And it's good to know what is the goal that you are trying to get out of the other person. What is the outcome that you want from a conversation? So now that you know what speaking with impact is all about, let's ask you, is there any challenge that you face in speaking with impact? What is stopping you today from speaking with impact? Let's get those answers in the chat box, in the Q&A box. And I see there are lots of questions here, which we are going to come to very soon.
Lack of preparations, fear of rejection or judgment.
Very real fears. Absolutely. Lack of preparation is the biggest one. We often don't spend enough time preparing our content. And a lot of the confidence just comes from knowing your content really well. And if you are the master of your subject, half of your nervousness will disappear. Fear of rejection, fear of judgment, very, very real. Before we even step onto the stage or step onto the meeting or, wherever we are supposed to present, we start thinking of the worst case scenario. Oh my God, I'm going to step on the stage. I'm going to forget everything. I will not know how to handle tough questions. This audience is going to hate me. So if I was to embrace this fear right now, I would think, oh my God, I don't know if you people are enjoying this session or not. What if you're logging off? What if GIBS says that this session was horrible, right? I can have all of those feelings. Those would all be fears, and those would actually stop me from speaking with impact. And there are solutions to every fear. And I won't get into each of the fears right now, but in the Q&A section, we will attend to some of these questions. But for now, I also want to get an understanding of your mindset. So let's launch a poll, and I will just do that. And I want you to answer these questions, just true or false. So question number 1 asks you, your speech delivery must be perfect to leave an impact. Do you think that's true or that's false? And you don't have to take too much time thinking about this. Be quick with this, okay? Confidence means no nervousness. True or false? You need to be a master of English to be a good public speaker. True or false? Good communication is mostly about how well you speak. True or false? The audience is always judging you and waiting for you to fail. They're all sitting there looking at you and waiting. Let me catch when Mridu fumbles in this presentation. True or false? Speaking a little fast, that shows confidence. True or false? And memorizing your speech is the key to success. True or false? Come on, faster. Don't spend too much time thinking. Just go with what your gut feel says. So we'll wait till at least 50% of the participants have responded. We are at 46% right now. I'm going to give you another 1 minute to go through these questions. And
there are a lot of difference of opinions in every single question what we have asked.
Yes. Except I think the 5th one where we are saying that the audience is judging you and wants you to fail, 94% people so far have said false. But a lot of difference in the opinions. Okay. Are we ready for results, or should we give it another few seconds?
I think we can go ahead with the results now.
All right. So about 57% of you answered. So I'm just going to end the poll here. And the answers to this, to every single question, is no. These are all very common myths that we have in our minds. Your speech delivery must be perfect to leave an impact. No, you can make a few mistakes. It is absolutely fine. There is nobody sitting and judging you and waiting for you to fail. In fact, the audience is rooting for your success because that's why they're there. They look up to you. They are there to learn from you. And they are most definitely wanting to get something beneficial out of this talk. So they are actually rooting for your success. Confidence means no nervousness. Absolutely false. Even after 18 years in front of the camera, Even now, when I step onto a live stage where I'm hosting an event and let's say 500 people are sitting there and, the spotlight comes on me and suddenly I'm supposed to smile and say hello and welcome. I'm nervous. I have butterflies. And a little nervousness is always good because it shows that you care about your performance. Only if you're getting overpowered and completely overcome by nervousness so much that you can't perform, that becomes a problem. But there are a lot of tools to even get over that and practice. So, a little nervousness is always good. You need to be a master of English to be a good public speaker. 21% of you said yes, and that's not true at all. English is a medium, it's a language. It's not even our native language. It is, yes, it's essential to know the language because in the corporate world, this is the language the world is following, but don't let it make you underconfident. Don't let it pull you down and don't let anyone tell you that, hey, I think you're not a good speaker because your English is poor. Have you seen the Prime Minister? Right? If he can talk in broken English everywhere in the world, so can we. So be proud of your heritage and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Good communication is mostly about how well you speak. That is not true at all. There are a few other elements, and we are going to come to those shortly. So I'm not going to reveal much on that one. The audience is judging you. I told you they're not. Speaking fast shows confidence. Very happy to see that 92% of you did not agree with that. Great. Yes, speaking fast does not actually show confidence. It can actually make you fumble, make you forget, make you, do some mistakes while talking. So don't think that, the faster I speak and the earlier I get over with this talking activity, it's just going to be better. No, it's not. Instead, breathe, take a pause, be gentle with your time and enjoy the conversation. Right. And memorization of the speech is key to success. 36% of you said true. It's not actually. And memorization, essentially remembering everything verbatim, word by word, is not possible. So don't aim to memorize. Aim to just memorize your logical flow, your bullet points. Just make an outline of your speech, put bullet points down that I will open with this, I will lead to this story, I will then share this data, and I will close with this message. So remember the structure, but don't try to memorize all the words because you are setting yourself up for failure. What will happen on stage is you will forget a few words, and instead of thinking on your feet and going on, you will start thinking, oh, wahan kya likha tha maine? What did I write? What was that word very fancy word that I used while writing? Don't do it. Don't memorize, but practice a lot and remember your logical flow and structure. So there are 5 key pillars of speaking with impact. And these are something that honestly, I keep changing from time to time, but these 5 pillars remain constant. There are a bunch of other things around public speaking and around speaking with impact, but these 5 you should always keep in mind. One is to understand your audience. Who are they? Where are they coming from? What is their age group? What is their motivation? Why should they be listening to you? And what is it that they are getting out of this? What is the benefit that they will get out of listening to you speak? That will help you tailor your message. So understanding your audience is the very, very number one part of starting any sort of a conversation, presentation, speech, talk, anything. So spend a lot of time understanding your audience. Active listening is the second one. It helps you respond in the right manner. Active listening is about being fully present in a conversation. You are not just listening to the person, your body language is open and welcoming and warm towards the person. You're not sitting, say, cross-armed and closed off, and you're definitely not looking at your phone. The worst manners to do is to keep looking at a phone while somebody is talking to you. So active listening is about being physically present and mentally present in a particular conversation. Then be self-aware. Put your strengths forward. What does that mean? For example, some of us are introverts, some of us are extroverts. What does that mean? Some of us draw energy from inside us. We like to be in solitude. We like to read our books. We like to, listen to our music. We don't like too many crowds because that depletes us of energy. Whereas the extroverts love talking to people. They derive energy out of conversations with other people. Now be self-aware of what impacts your energy, whether it's your food habits, it's your sleep habits, it's your energy awareness, your nature, your introvertedness, extrovertedness. All of this you can use to your advantage as a public speaker. How? If I know that I'm an introvert, before this session, I want half an hour to myself. I don't want to interact with other people. Whereas if I know I'm a person who loves to talk to people, I will go chit chat with my family for half an hour or with people in office and then get into a session because I got a high energy out of this. I actually have a friend who takes a run sometimes now that we are all working from home. And if he has a very high stakes meeting coming up, he will go out for a 10-minute run, maybe 1 hour before the meeting, go for a run, come back, take a shower, and then get ready for the meeting. If it's a very high stakes meeting, which requires his full awareness, because that works for him. So figure out what works for you and implement that to improve your strengths. Adopt host mentality. What does that mean? When you are entering a conversation, entering the stage, go with the mentality that you are here to serve the people. You are here to serve the audience, that you are the host of this event. You want to give value, you want to give benefit to the audience. One, that makes your talk very relevant to the audience because you're putting yourself in their shoes. You are, obviously you're treating them like a guest and you're showing them hospitality. And two, it makes you less anxious because you stop thinking about yourself and you start thinking about them. So now your entire focus is on how do I make this engaging for the audience? What can I do next? What words would help them? What tips can I give them today to help them? And you're not thinking about, oh, I'm so nervous. So this makes you less anxious, less nervous. It's the absolute foolproof method of, starting to control your anxiety. And always adapt your message to the audience. Now, I give public speaking talks to all sorts of audiences. When I'm talking to a CXO audience, it will be tailored differently. When I'm talking to a college audience, it is tailored differently. If I'm talking to children, it will be tailored differently. So please understand who is your audience, and your message can be the same, but you have to adapt the message to how the audience understands it and receives it. If I give you a CXO lecture here today, chances are you are going to put this on mute and go off somewhere, leave your phones and laptops and not be attending this conversation, right? So understand what works for the audience and work for their benefit. So these 5 things, if you can remember every time that you take a speaking activity, it's going to really, really help you do well with it. Now, if you break down speaking with impact, so we've had the pillars, we are going to remember all the pillars, but what does it really mean? It is broken down into 2 pieces. One is the content that you write, which is the part of your presentation or your meeting or your stage talk or your appraisal conversation, the stuff that you are going to be speaking, that is the content. And there is the delivery, right? So speaking is of course the delivery part of it, but before you start to speak, you have to write with impact. So your words have to have impact as well. And when it comes to delivery, there are the 3 V's, which is your visual, vocal, and verbal communication. And I'm going to come to that shortly. But first, let's break down the content. How do you write with impact? Now, this can go on for, say, 10 hours. I can teach you on how to write with impact. But today, because our focus is more on speaking, I'm going to leave you with just a very few minimal must-haves in your content when you're going to speak with impact. So write for ethos, pathos, and logos. Anyone who wants to share what that means, already aware of this? The Greek philosopher Aristotle basically, came up with this, and I think it was 4th century BC. It's something that's really, really old and ancient, but it applies to us even today. And as public speakers, this is a rule that you should have in your content. You are appealing to the ethos, pathos, and logos of your audience. What is ethos? Ethos is about establishing credibility of the speaker. People trust people when they think they are credible. So why are you trusting me here today? Because Sandeep gave me a very kind introduction of all that I have done in my life to basically show you that, hey, she's credible and she's got some experience in what she's going to talk about. And that obviously just wins your interest immediately, rather than not giving an introduction, not establishing credibility, and just somebody, oh, we've called somebody from CNBC and she's going to be talking, right? So establishing credibility is really, really important as a speaker, because it shows your authority, it shows your trustworthiness, it shows your expertise, and you can achieve this through credentials, through experience, through if you're representing your brand, you can show customer testimonials. If you are you are a college student applying to universities abroad, obviously you show them all your credentials of what all you did in your undergrad, in your first postgrad, whatever you have studied up till now. If you were working, what are the awards that you got there? You try and establish credibility so that the audience listens to you. Pathos is about appealing to the audience's emotions. How do we do that? We do that through storytelling. We tell stories in every conversation that we have. If we are talking to an audience, we create a story, and most, usually share your personal story. That works the best. If you don't have a personal story, share someone else's personal story and give them credit for it. But basically appeal to the audience's emotions, because as human beings, we are wired to respond to emotions and stories. We don't respond as well to data, logic, and statistics. But there are always exceptions to that. There are some people who are moved more by data, who have the left brain and the right brain. So one set of people are more emotional, and the other set of people are more practical and logical. So you don't want to alienate the logical audience, which is why after telling a story, you also back it up with data. You appeal to the audience's logical mind by telling them that, this is one case study, but like this person, there are 100 million others in the same situation, and you give them the source of that number. So to give you a few examples, if you were to establish your credibility or authority as a speaker, as a seasoned journalist and communication coach, I can attest to the importance of writing and speaking with impact and its influence in the business world. My experiences have taught me that practice is the key to progress. So that's an example if I was to give a talk and basically start establishing my credibility. So I laid out that this is what I have done. This is what my experiences have taught me, and practice is the key. That's the lesson that I'm giving you. If I was to appeal to the pathos, the emotional side of a person, now imagine that this is an organization that's asking for donation. So they will start telling a story. Imagine a child waking up on Christmas morning with no presents under the tree, feeling forgotten, feeling unloved. Your donation can bring a smile on this child's face and make this holiday season truly magical, right? So you have appealed to the emotional side of your audience, and you want them to take action and donate to this charity that's helping children. Now, if you're dealing with a logical person who is going to be skeptical perhaps, and say that, okay, fine, they're asking for donation and all this sentimental drama is fine, but how do I know that this is a good place to donate in? People will have questions like that, right? They're giving you money. So for example, now you have to appeal to the logical mind of somebody to push them to go for renewable energy rather than fossil fuels. So studies show that implementing renewable energy solutions can reduce energy costs by up to 40%. Investing in solar panels is not only beneficial for the environment, but also makes business sense and leads to long-term savings. So here you are showing the person that, look, you are benefiting out of this. These are the numbers, you are getting benefits out of this. And with this, you appeal to different parts of the audience, and you mix and match this, you tell a story, you back it up with data, and you appeal to the audience. So that's as far as the content part of it is concerned. So we are writing with impact. We are appealing to all sections of the audience by writing powerfully. And there are a number of things in writing, but I'm not going to touch on that for now. When it comes to delivering this, let's assume you have your speech, your talk, your presentation ready. Now you have to deliver it. There are 3 V's that you have to take care of. Your visual, how we look and carry ourselves, our body language, our facial expressions, our vocal, which is the sound of our voice, our tone, our volume, our pacing, and there is the verbal, which is the words that we use to communicate. So now I'm going to launch another poll, and I want answers from you to know which of these 3 is most important. Okay, this is the old poll. I'm going to go back. Yeah. So launching this poll. I don't see the launch button actually. Yeah, got it. So you should be able to see the poll now on your screens. As a public speaker, what do you think the audience is judging you on? Think from the audience's perspective. Are they judging you on the way you look and you carry yourself? Are they judging you on the sound of your voice, your beautiful voice modulation? Or are they most impacted by the words that you're using? How powerful are your words? Are you able to use, compelling language while talking? Which of these 3 do you think is most important from an audience's perspective? As a speaker, what should you take care of first? So I'm going to give it a minute.
The audience is, I think they're trying to be a little safer.
I mean, the first 2 options are quite competing with each other. Visual,
Each other, yeah.
32% and verbal 57%. Okay.
57%.
Verbal is winning right now. And vocal, the sound of your voice is only 11%. Okay. All right. So 60% of the participants have already answered. So I'm going to end the poll here. And this was actually a study that was done by UCLA. And the study showed that actually A, which is visual, the way you look and carry yourself is what is most impactful. People are not bothered about the words that you speak so much. People are not so bothered by the way you modulate your voice. People are most impacted by your body language. So 60% of you actually said verbal, which is the words, which is actually the least important. So only 7% people in that survey felt that words actually, and this was a very in-depth industry level survey, not like us doing a poll on Zoom. So, but that's what UCLA found, that that's the University of California, Los Angeles, found that people are most impacted by the visuals of a speaker. And the visual doesn't mean the way you dress. It means your body language, the way you move around the stage, the way you move your hands, your feet, your eyes, your facial expressions, your smiles, all of that counts much more. Vocal is second, which is your voice and your pausing, your emphasis, your speed. And words, which we think are the most powerful, are actually the least important. Even if you use the simplest of language with the most, short sentences, clear, focused conversational language, you can deliver that with a punch if you master your nonverbal communication, which is your vocals and your visual. So when you divide time, start by, of course, mastering the content, but also spend a lot of time in practicing delivery. How do you really do that? You can improve your visual, which is the way you look and carry yourself. First, groom yourself well. Always be dressed appropriately for the occasion. depending on where you're going to be talking, whom you're going to be talking to. Always practice your body language. And I'll give you one easy exercise to keep your spine straight, which is what you should be doing in every scenario of talking. One, because it's good for your spine, and two, because it makes the energy flow well in your body and keeps you dynamic and keeps you active, as opposed to if you slouch and sit like this, or you relax back and sit like this. It's not going to help, and it's going to be a poor, image of you as a speaker. So if you're sitting, imagine that the backrest of your chair is on fire. So, every time you lean back a little, it's going to be, ouch, this is too hot. I have to go back. You can only lean back for a second or two and you have to come back straight. And when you're standing, imagine there is a string going through your head and it's pulling you up, 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 up. And you are having to keep your back absolutely straight because this string has stretched up and pulled you straight. And keep your spine straight. In the long term, I promise you, your spinal health is going to be amazing. And you're going to make a much larger impact as a speaker. And always start and end with a smile. Always smile wherever you can in your conversation, because smiles obviously are attractive. They make people, I understand that you're nervous and most of us tend to frown when we are nervous, but that doesn't go across well to your audience. So always start and end with a smile. Always try and maintain eye contact as far as possible. When you're in a room full of people, that's even more easy because you can pretend to look at these people, then that people, then those people. But if you're in a room of maybe just 2 or 3 people, maintain eye contact with each one. And if you're talking to a virtual audience, look at the lens when you're talking. That's what eye contact really means, right? So smile, maintain eye contact. This is your visual. When it comes to your voice, we have vocal cords. We should do a lot of exercises to warm these up every day and, keep them active. Be a bathroom singer. Nobody's judging your singing. So sing nicely, drop your inhibitions and sing. Nobody's listening to you while you're bathing and singing. Hopefully you're not loud enough for the outside. So use that time to warm up your vocal cords. Your articulation, your pronunciation, your diction. Pronunciation, easy, Google, we all have Google. You come across a new word, put it on Google, listen to the sound and keep on practicing. Every time you do that, you are improving your pronunciation. Google for commonly mispronounced words and take that list and practice. Modulate your voice. How do you do that? You practice pausing. Pausing is good. You practice emphasis, which is every sentence has some words that are more important, some words that are less important. So emphasize on the important words. And pace, which is your speed. You should be neither too fast nor too slow. If you're too fast, your audience is not going to understand. If you're too slow, the audience is going to get bored. So the pace should be comfortable for you, but the pace should also be comfortable for your audience. And I'm going to give you 2 exercises to improve your articulation. Articulation is the clarity with which you speak a word. So pick up big words and break them down, like entertainment, entertainment. Practice that. Entertainment, entrepreneur. Like that, pick up 10, 15, 20 big words, break them down. That's good for articulation. The other thing is what I call the pencil munch. Wait, let me get a pencil here. Yeah. So, you know how as kids we munched like this? Now, hold it like this. Place it here. Now take a book and read out 2 to 3 pages with the pencil like this. And your articulation in the long run is going to improve a lot. Do this exercise every single day for at least a couple of months, and you will see that your clarity of speech really, really improves, right? And the third V is the verbal, or the words that you use. Again, less important as compared to the others, according to the survey, but you can't just forget about this. You have to know the words you want to speak. Use language that is simple, clear, authentically you. Don't try to use big, complicated words which you are likely to mispronounce, which you are likely to not understand the meaning of. Keep one message at a time for your audience and use simple language. And when in doubt, cut it out. So in your speech, if there is a sentence that's making you feel, oh, I'm not sure what this means, or I'm not sure how this is pronounced, leave it out. Nobody is going to mind that, right? Nobody has seen your speech yet. So, and these are some final tips. Use persuasive language, be authentic, watch a lot of other global speakers, get inspired, but don't try to copy other people, because that's not going to end well for you. Get inspired, learn tips, learn tricks from what you observe, but don't copy to be somebody else. Be authentic. And always structure your speech, have a clear opening, middle, and closing, and tell stories. Stories, evoke emotions. Create speaking opportunities for yourself, whether it's in your college. Start a speaking club if there's no speaking club yet. If it's a birthday party, you're going to go create an activity, say, come on, we are all going to speak something nice about the birthday girl. Create opportunities for yourself. Going to a family dinner with your parents, do a speaking activity. Just create opportunities to practice your speaking and try and seek feedback from other people. And so that you can go on improving. And just remember that this is a long-term process. It is not something that comes immediately. It takes time. It takes a lot of practice. So compete with yourself and keep on progressing a little bit every day. Set small goals and chase progress. Don't chase perfection, because there is no perfect speaker in the world. Really, there isn't, and there is not going to be. So that's it from me, and we are going to take some questions now, but I also want to tell you a little bit about my venture, MentorLeap. So I do a lot of public speaking cohorts, writing cohorts. I'm also doing executive presence cohorts, but that is for senior leaders. So if any of you want to join any cohort, just log on to mentorleap.co, and you can use the promo code GIBS, and whatever cohorts are coming up, we will definitely offer good discounts to all of you. So, but this is, we are closing on the 31st of May because cohorts are starting in end of June. So enrollment is on. If anyone wants to learn, upskill, mentorleap.co is the website. And you can find me on LinkedIn. I post a lot of free content on speaking, writing, communication related stuff, career related stuff. MentorLeap website also has a MentorLeap studio section where you can get free content to accelerate careers. So, stay in touch and reach out if there's any difficulty, doubt. Please feel free to write to me. I'm here to help. And yep, that's it from me. And let's take quick questions now.
Thank you so much for that, madam. I must say that a lot of the audience, or a lot of all of us might have a lot of myths which we say, okay, this should be like this, or the communication is always the English. There are a lot of myths has been clarified. Thank you so much for that. So we'll quickly take few of questions, since we have a lot of questions which the participants have rolled out. So we'll start from the beginning. How important is the body language in persuasive communication?
Super important. Like we discussed, the 3 V's. Visual
Yes.
is most important, which is your non-verbal communication. So the way you move your hands, and there are two reasons why this is important. One, of course, the impact that it has on your audience. It shows that you're involved. It shows that you know your subject. It also helps you be calmer, because when you start moving your hands, for those who talk really fast, this is a great tactic to use your hands a little more, because that helps you control your speed. Automatically your body, your voice will start syncing with your hands. If the two are not in sync, you will not move your hands this fast. So automatically your pace will slow down.
Yes, Williams.
So very, very important. Please pay a lot of attention to body language.
Thank you so much for that. And similar question to that, which says, what does the tone of voice play in persuasive communication?
Again, very, very important. More than the tone of voice, I would break it down into one, the volume of your voice. It has to be reasonable enough that, the person, even if you're not speaking on a mic, and if it is, say, just about a 20-foot long room, the person at the last bench or the last chair in the room should be able to hear you clearly. It should not be that you need a mic and you can't, you're too soft spoken that the person at the end cannot hear you, or you are that loud that the front people are saying, oh my God, this voice is really shrilling for me. So, volume is important, pitch is important, your pacing, emphasis, and pausing are the most important when it comes to modulating your voice.
Okay, great, ma'am. Thank you so much for that. So next question is being asked by Ashwini. What techniques can help in managing public speaking anxiety?
Okay, so first you need to understand what is making you anxious. Is it the fear of being judged? Is it the fear of blanking out? Is it the fear of technology going off on you? Maybe your slides are not going to work. Uh, First, it's important to break it down into what is the fear that I'm feeling. Maybe I'm just feeling that I'm going to fail today. Why am I feeling that? Next, you rationalize that fear. How often has it happened that I have actually failed while speaking? Maybe it's happened once or twice to you, but in your mind, you think that you are a terrible speaker. Maybe you are not a terrible speaker, but just because it happened last week and it happened very recently at a very big event, that's why that's making you nervous. So first, break down into what the fear is, then rationalize it to yourself and tell yourself that, it's not as bad as I think it is. And third, build a contingency plan. So if I'm actually going to blank out on stage, let's imagine I am blanking out. What am I going to do? So maybe have 3 or 4 questions ready that you can throw at the audience. Maybe have a poll. Maybe have a show of hands. Maybe, just try and engage them and deflect attention from yourself for a few moments so that you can collect your thoughts. And again, anxiety, I do a whole module on this. So it can be a 2-hour class on managing anxiety, but break it down into whether it's physical anxiety or mental anxiety. Physical symptoms would be that your heart is racing and you're feeling breathless, your palms are sweaty, or your forehead is sweaty, or you're feeling very cold, you're shivering. Those are symptoms of physical anxiety. And those, again, there are techniques to manage each of those. And usually it's mental anxiety, which can go with deep breathing, which doing some stretches before physical movement before you take on to the speaking activity, and by rationalizing your actual fear of being on stage.
Great. Thank you so much, ma'am. We will take our last couple of questions more.
Yeah, sure.
So, what role does negotiation play in persuasive communication? How it can be effectively managed?
So, again, depends on the situation. What are you negotiating for? All negotiations are persuasive communication. So by nature, a negotiation is persuasive. You are negotiating for something, whether it's a higher paying job, whether it's a promotion, whether it's admission, whether it's permission from your parents. All of that is a negotiation at the end of the day. And yes, you can negotiate in different forms. There are negotiation techniques that you can use. So, okay, one is the risk to reward thing that, okay, if you let me out tonight, tomorrow I'm going to finish my homework. For little kids, moms do this all the time. They tag a reward to the negotiation story and say that, okay, you finish your holiday homework and I'm going to take you for a vacation to Dehradun this time. So, there are multiple negotiation techniques, but all negotiations are persuasive in nature, but all persuasive communication is not necessarily a negotiation. Because like if I'm persuading you to apply these techniques, I'm not negotiating for anything, right? You may or may not apply it, and that's fine. So that's not a negotiation.
So we'll take last question for the evening. This has been asked by Mohammad Arif. He says, how can you develop and deliver persuasive communication in high-stake situations, such as negotiation or the crisis management?
So a lot of it comes from practice. Start practicing your 3 V's, your verbal, your vocal, and your visual communication skills. Because a crisis situation, when it happens, chances are that you have to be in a leadership position to be able to, in a professional time, in your professional world, chances are that you will only be talking on a crisis when you are very, very up the ladder, when it comes to, managing a crisis. How can you develop this? You start by simulating scenarios. What are the crisis situations that can happen around you? Start with simulating 3 top crisis situations that you think you might have to manage in your current job profile. And those could be anything. And then break it down into how you would manage that. What would your visual communication look like? How would your body language be in that situation? What words would you use? Would you be empathetic? Would you be authoritative? Would you be, what type of a leader would you be in that situation? What language would you be using? What tone would you be using? So I think all of this, it's a very large question, open-ended, but I think largely it depends on the scenario you're in. So the best part would be to start practicing it with multiple scenarios that are possible in your job profile. So for example, if I'm a journalist covering calamities, how am I supposed to react when an earthquake happens? What would my modus operandi be? Who would I be calling? How would I tell that story? How would I approach the victims? How would I approach the police? How would I approach the disaster relief efforts? Those are things that I would think about. So think about those scenarios pertaining to your particular job role, and start working on those scenarios.
That's really great, ma'am. Thank you so much for that. And I would also love to extend my heartfelt gratitude for being with us today and sharing your expertise. You being one of the renowned public speaking in the journalism, in the television as well. But still, you made it for all our students and audience. Thank you so much for joining me once again.
Thank you.
And we look forward to see you in the campus also, ma'am. Any day you're in Bangalore, we would love to host you at the campus. So please do come. And for all the audience, thank you so much for joining in. It was really nice and wonderful having you. It was such a wonderful, engaging session we had it today. So you can certainly connect ma'am on her LinkedIn. And if you would love to learn a lot of things about public speaking, I'm sure ma'am have already shared you the links. And you can always connect to mentorleap.co. So you can just connect and you can be a part of the one of the cohort which upcoming in the sessions, right? So thank you so much and stay connected with GIBS as well as with MentorLeap. So looking forward to have much more such inspiring and learning experiences. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you for having me, Sandeep. And thank you everybody for being such a participative audience. Thanks a lot. And all the best.
Thank you so much.
Keep speaking with impact.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.